Good morning and welcome. Yes, we're back for another Chatbox Business Breakfast Show. I'm David Bell and I'm joined by my great friend, co-host and long-term friend as well, Nick. We can talk more about that in a future show. I'm counting the years away that we've worked together in business, supported each other, supported other businesses around us. But morning to you, Nick. The sun is shining. It's a beautiful morning. We've got guests lined up already here, sitting in the green room, anxious and eager to get on the show and talk about, well, the theme of today's show is all about tech, apps, and tools to make us more productive and in some cases maybe less productive. There could be an argument for and against. But how is sunny old Chelmsford, Nick?
It's great, mate. Good morning to you. Top of the morning to all of our lovely viewers this morning. What a day. How exciting is this? We're back. We're live. It's unscripted as always, and we'll benefit from your knowledge, your experience, and you, lovely audience, sharing your ideas about apps, about tools. What do you use? What don't you use? What do you absolutely love? What couldn't you live without when you look at your smart device? And here's a question for us all, right? What apps are we currently carrying around in our pocket that we wish we'd never got hold of in the first place? You're looking very smart, my friend. Look at you. You look like you're going to dominate the business world today.
I've polished up, and that's because obviously the breakfast show is first off, early morning breakfast show, and then I'm out and about for the majority of the day. So I thought I'd make the efforts, and I'm still sitting in the underpants, but the top half looks fantastic.
Brilliant, mate. Well done. Well done. We're all sitting in our underpants across the globe. Anyone online having meetings, sitting in our pants live on the breakfast show. Do not stand up, right? Whatever you do not stand up during any meeting.
Yeah, pretty safe. Look.
Yeah. Imagine, mate, imagine if you've got your boxers on with "Happy Birthday Queen" on the front of the boxers. How about that? What a start to any show that would be.
Well, let's talk about that very quickly because it is officially the Queen's birthday today. Happy birthday. Hope you have a lovely day. You're spoilt rotten by your children and grandchildren and everyone around you. I wonder what she will get for her birthday. Do you reckon they send her a Moonpig card?
What do you get, right? What do you get the lady who has everything? 96. She's been at work for 70 years, mate. Been on the throne 70 years. That's a long shift. Lovely audience, let us know anyone who's been working in their business longer than 70 years. Got a message from the Queen this morning. Not going to be able to join us on the show this morning. Her cottage in Sandringham, not great connectivity, unfortunately, but she's going to view the catch-up show.
There you go. I know she does watch every week without shadow of a doubt. She then puts a comment on there as well. Of course, you have the power to put a comment onto the chat. You can actually, if you're it depends on where you're watching this, of course. You might be in bed, you might be at your office desk, your kitchen table, eating your cornflakes, maybe your Weetabix and baked beans. We've been there, done that, or Nick has anyway. Look that up in one of our early episodes where Nick actually had warm-up beans on Weetabix. Anyway, but wherever you're watching from and whatever platform you're watching us on, because we are streaming to LinkedIn Business, Facebook Live, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch for the second week in a row. So good morning, Twitch listeners and viewers. Hopefully you're enjoying the show as much as we enjoy creating it as well. So tech, Nick. Now, we have got a bit of a nickname that came around last year. And can you remember what that nickname was? Digital Dave.
And Analog Nick.
And Analog Nick.
Or Analog Ant, because it sounds much better.
Now, why is this? Nick? Why have we been branded up? Digital Dave and Analog Ant.
Well, you, my friend, are without a doubt more teched up than anybody I know. And not to be accused of as a Luddite, I'm not averse to technology. I just don't want it to rule my world because my whole focus around communication is human-centric communication. So I'm more cynical, and that might show in today's event. I'm a bit more cynical about how useful the technology is without us adopting and evolving to fit in with what it's trying to make us into. So I'm more cynical, but you embrace it like nothing else.
And that's very true. I am a adopter of early technology. I love to give things a try and see what works and what doesn't work and fix it, break it. But let's just be honest, Nick. We join the show half an hour before we go live, and we have a bit of background chat. It is all kind of unscripted, but we kind of have a quick chat. What we're going to talk about, what we're going to touch on, what the stories, what's hot, what's not. That's the only planning we ever do for these particular events. And this morning, Nick, you were very cynical, weren't you? Every story I kind of picked up, let's talk about that. There was another kind of story that come from it. Yes, but. And it was a kind of a cynical morning. So let's start off with one of those stories, shall we? And then what we'll do is we'll get Nick's version of what he thinks about it. So let's start with this one. Elon Musk, in the news, you can't miss him these days. Tesla posts record profits of 3.32 billion. Now, by any standards, that's, pretty reasonable. I think most of us will be quite happy. We were turning over that to start with, let alone profits. Huge. Obviously, SpaceX, Tesla is the part that's really accountable for that. But then he's got SpaceX, and then he's got his boring company and various other things floating around in the background. So let me just put a little bit of meat on the bones here. So Tesla posted a record profit of 3.32 billion for the first quarter. Okay, that's for the first quarter of 2022. Even though the pandemic shut down its Shanghai factory. The results compare with earnings of only 438 million a year earlier. Now, what this meant is their sales jumped 80% to 18.8 billion. Now, the world's most valuable car maker delivered 310,000 electric vehicles, up from 184,877 a year earlier. So look, let's be honest, the stats say it all. But Nick, what did you say when I just
say it all? They don't say it all. They say there's a massively successful business, innovative, and Elon Musk seems to, steer his way through massively innovative businesses. Okay, me personally don't trust the guy. Right, I'm very interested.
A middle-aged white guy that smokes weed.
So what the story doesn't talk about, or I don't, you've got the story, I don't. What's going on behind the scenes? All right, massively successful company, huge profits. Okay, how come? Is it just because it's a very honest business, paying all of its workers a really good wage? It's one of those businesses everybody wants to work for. Or are they somewhere along the lines exploiting, like far too many big businesses, exploiting their workforce, all right, creating as much damage as good, right? It's horrendously profitable, right? And who's profiting?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is it the workers, right? Is it the people who in the local communities, or is it predominantly the shareholders, right? Is it Elon Musk? Because it's always, you cannot talk about any of his companies without talking about him. Okay, I get it. He's the figurehead. I'm just wondering what it's like to work for Tesla in one of their factories. Let's say not necessarily in the States, but abroad. What's it like? A bit like, what's it like working in an Apple factory in Shanghai, for example? Good day or not a good day? Okay, and we love our products. We certainly, us Apple fans, we love them. Okay, we don't necessarily want to hear the let's say the darker side of how our products are created. And let's not even start about the minerals that are precious, that are being used in these products. At some point there won't be any left. Anyway, so I'm a little bit more cynical, as you can tell. There's a darker side to every story.
Audience, if you didn't pick that up from Nick there, if you do work for Tesla or have some association to Tesla, let us know. Tell us what it's like working in one of the factories. Tell us what it's like working for Elon. We do know someone, Nick, that worked for Elon Musk, who's helping us with the whole StreamAid project. I'm not going to put too much out there at the moment because it might not be a good thing, because he might have good things to say or bad things to say. But interesting. And I'm going to have to declare an interest here, obviously, because I do drive a Tesla. So I do have a bit of favoritism to the guy, and I actually think he's doing amazing things. But I do
very entrepreneurial, right? As a business leader, seems to have some secret sauce, right? People seem to talk about him in favorable terms. I'm a little, well, allow me to be cynical. What's going on in the background, Mr. Musk? I read the biography. Wasn't impressed with him as a person, how he treats people. But
okay, so listeners and viewers, right? If you have an opinion on this about Elon Musk and his wealth, his richness, and his entrepreneurship, let us know. Put it in the chat.
Stick it in the chat.
Just like Emma's done this morning. Good morning, Emma Cook. Just giving us a hello and a good morning. You can share your comments, your opinions, and your views in the chat. And we will pop that up on the screen and share it with the world. As long as it's reasonably clean and something nice. We don't want to be annoying too many people. And we have to be also appreciative of certain streaming platforms. We've tested this in the past with certain elements of swear wording, and I've got it running here. I keep an eye on all the other feeds, and we've got our closed captions coming up, and we have tested that. We've seen how many stars that we can get when we use certain words. Technology at its best. It's taking out the naughties that we might include when having a conversation.
Well, you say technology at its best, right? Okay, let's see the other side of this. This could be the flavor of the show. Okay, so what if, right, the closed captions, you only see in the closed captions. Okay, so you're hard of hearing, closed captions, brilliant. It's keeping you abreast on what's being said. However, when we swear, it stars it out or changes it. assuming that you don't want to see those swear words. You don't want the authentic version of you and I getting a bit irate or something. It dampens down the effect of what us humans are really good at, being, good and bad at the same time.
And this is why, going back to Elon Musk, that he's bought 9.6% shares in Twitter and actually wants to buy the rest of it. Because he wants the ability to have control of that and let everybody tell their story without it being filtered and cleansed.
I don't trust him.
Well, there we go. Moving on, we've got our entrepreneur coming on the show. We're talking Elon Musk. We're talking about another young, dynamic entrepreneur who's going to be joining us very shortly in the studio. Before we go to that, we're going to have an ad break. But let's just talk about this story just to sum up, because it fits very nicely with Tesla. Here's the image. This is all about self-driving vehicles. The picture is not a self-driving vehicle, is it? I mean, if it is, that looks like something like a Ford Focus to me. Nothing wrong with a Ford Focus, but that doesn't look like it's going to drive itself because it's got a manual gear stick in the middle, or for our American counterparts, it's a stick shift there. But let me just add a little bit of meat on the bones around this one. Users of self-driving cars will not be responsible for crashes and will be allowed to watch TV whilst behind the wheel under proposed changes to the highway code. We can't use a mobile phone, by the way, just to make that clear. So they're going to bring in that you can drive a self-driving car, you can sit back, watch TV, Netflix, okay, but you can't use your mobile phone. Look, I love technology, and my Tesla does kind of part self-driving badly. It's not brilliant by any means, but it does work. But I wouldn't want to take my hand off the wheel. You do maybe sometimes just to, itch your nose or something like that. But I'm telling you, I've been driving along with my wife in the car and we've nearly ended up on the other side of the road. So self-driving's got a long way to go. Full self-driving, but watching Netflix whilst driving. Love technology, but
a quick point on this. Self-driving cars, big load of investment. Okay, potentially the future, potentially not. Okay. However, as far as I understand it, self-driving cars, it's an all or nothing game. You can't have self-driving cars and human behind the wheel control cars, right? Traditional cars on the same roads. Okay, because us humans don't work like self-driving cars. Okay, and self-driving cars, as far as I understand, will be programmed to be as safe as possible. So we'll stop when there's hazards and stuff. And us humans will just bully them off the road. You'll sit in your self-driving car and people will cut in front of you and you'll stop. You'll be the most polite driver in the world. Okay, and as far as I understand it, you can't have both. It'd be lovely to hear your opinions, audience. So if you can't have both, we're a long way in the future before you can jump in your self-driving car, drive down to the Army and Navy in Chelmsford and safely get to Tesco's on the other side. But who knows where the technology will go? What will happen? The tech will come and us humans will fit around it. Just like when automobiles were first invented, right? Then town planners, right, changed the way towns and cities were created to allow for the automobiles. Not the other way around. It was tech leading us as opposed to us leading tech.
Very good point, Nick. I'll leave you with this final thought before we go to an ad break. You can't even get around the Army and Navy if you walk.
Just had a thought, mate. Anyone who's not been to Chelmsford and doesn't know the Army and Navy roundabout is probably thinking, what do you mean you can't get around the Army and the Navy? What, both forces? What are they talking about?
Anyway, thank you to Fleet on the Ground. The Army and Navy, for those that don't know, is a mishmash of roundabouts and odds and sods, and they're redeveloping it. And believe me, it's hard enough to get a car around it, let alone walk around it. And a self-driving car, it would get absolutely confused. Anyway, let's move on. Let's get our guest on. He's not Elon Musk, but he's kind of along Elon Musk's entrepreneurial mindship. Been on the show before, a friend of the show. We've brought him back this week because he comes from an IT and technology background, but has a great story about how he gets there as well. Please welcome on the show our first guest of this morning, Mr. Lee Strachan from Galactic IT Group. Good morning. Good morning,
David. Morning, Nick. How are
G'day,
you?
mate. You're
How are we
looking
doing,
very
Lee?
well. Looking very
Well,
well, Lee. How you
I'm
doing?
well. All well, thank you. All well. Busy, busy, busy. Living the dream, enjoying the sun in this prison of mine.
Is that what you call it? The prison? That your office is the prison?
Yes.
It's where you spend your working day. They don't let you out. Well, of course, you're the decision maker. You are the owner and the founder of the company. You can do what you like, I suppose, to a degree. But you're busy. I'm seeing a lot of chatter and talk that happens across the social media platforms about the projects that you're doing and all of that. So it all looks good. But just recap, we had you on the show, I don't know, middle of last year, some point. Maybe it might be a bit earlier than that, early last year. And your company's been going a few years now, but you've got quite an unusual story about how you started your company. Now, without going into, because we've got lots to talk about this morning anyway, but just give us a refresh for those that don't know your journey to date, what happened and where you are now.
Yep, sure. So prior to business life, I was living on the streets, homeless. And to bring it short to the crumb, went through quite a dramatic recovery out off the streets. And that was getting myself back on my feet, getting a roof over my head, re-establishing, finding the business that I'm running today. And that was set up between myself and my cousin, Lee Strachan, back in 2016, officially. And it was remolded, as it were, back in 2019 to become what it is today. So in a short comment on that one, going from homeless, getting yourself back on your feet, doing the walk, and establishing a business down an entrepreneurial route, as they would call it, it's quite an achievement. And I'm not kind of blowing myself with gas on that one, but it is a difficult step coming off the dark streets and getting to where I am today.
Massive, mate, massive. And we have talked about it in the past, what that journey has looked like, and could never really be taken for granted, can it? That how much work, effort, and assistance required to get from there to here, and now you run this awesome tech company supporting local businesses near and far, I suppose. The future of tech for you, is it gonna get ridiculously busier and busier and busier? Are we going to lose ourselves in our technology, or at some point will it slow down? What do you reckon?
It's not going to slow down. I mean, if we forecast just IT and tech over the last 12 months throughout the other side of COVID, it's probably moved about 200 miles an hour. In terms of around the cyber world and all the tools that are coming out around the cyber awareness, and also business tools as well. Stepping away from automation because automation is growing quite rapidly, but it has come to I like to politely call it a halt, because it can only go so far for its current timeline. The focus has gone back into IT again, and the tech they're bringing out and software they're bringing out, and it's more prevention tools, if anything, that they're releasing now.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about what you do. Obviously, it's IT supports, but in a nutshell, for those listeners that will be joining the show, maybe listening on their commute into work, maybe they're sitting at their kitchen table this morning with their bowl of cornflakes. What does Galactic IT Group do? I mean, it says it on the tin, I know, but just paint us a quick picture of the type of organisations you're working with and some of the great stuff that you are doing. And then we're going to talk about apps and what people can do to promote their own business and help themselves.
Yep. So we're Galactic IT Group. We're an IT support provider in Leigh-on-Sea, an MSP, as they would call it in IT terminology. MSP means managed service provider. So we look after all your equipment, your computers, your network infrastructure, protection, antiviruses, Microsoft services, that we also provide in partnership status. And we're now in the process of molding, which we're driving on social media, a new element in our industry, which is called a GNOC. And GNOC is Galactica Network Operations Center. So we have got another office space opening up soon, which is going to be in Rayleigh Eastwood. which I'm currently looking at some properties, and it is a operation centre, as they call it, and it monitors proactively and reactively fellow businesses' equipment, networks, and also end user traffic as well. So what that means is prevention, and it goes around the cyber elements as well. We can stop and potentially eliminate an attack before it gets to a business. We can spot abnormalities in traffic on people's equipment. So that just gives you a bit of an insight on it. We can go into more detail on that in another call if wish. But there's exciting things ahead for the business. We're not just IT support now. We're kind of stepping out again with what we provide in the security and IT industry, and it's now going into that GNOC, as I call it, in abbreviation.
GNOC. It's phenomenal, and we spoke a week or so ago about the pace of change, and it's a bit sad, isn't it? Right, that we've got to the point, and it didn't take that long, that we're so reliant on our technology. I'd be very, very surprised if there's any businesses viewing, for sure, that aren't reliant upon their current modern tech. And then so much focus needs to be around preventing bad actors from spoiling this environment that we've created from around our businesses, all reliant upon tech. That's the cynic inside me is kind of groaning, thinking,
here we go again.
What a shame! What a shame that we have to focus so much time, effort, and energy on prevention, rather than just using the tools like they were intended to kind of enhance what we do. So, talking of enhancing, Lee, right? Apps and tools. Okay, what if you only had one, right? Only had one app on your device or on your machines? What would that be? Right, your bestest favorite one. And if you could get rid of one, right, what would that be? We'll give you a moment, because I'm going to ask David the same thing as well. You've only got one, and you've got to get rid of one as well, and that audience too, right? What app could you not live without, and what app do you wish you'd never even gotten anywhere near? Are you lost in the world of Wordle, right? And you're obsessed by it, and you wish you'd never downloaded it in the first place, or are you a massive fan? Let us know, audience. What is it you can't live without? What do you hate?
Absolutely. Lee, let's think about this. We can't have our own apps. Okay. So if you have an app that you use for Galactic IT, or it's something to do with your business, you can't choose your own. You can mention it, of course, but you can't have that as your favorite app. I mean, I've got loads of apps, and we'll talk more about my apps and how many I have on my mobile device, but I have quite a few. But I suppose the app that I couldn't live without, there's many, but the app I can't live without is my Tesla app, because it's my car key. It's as simple as that. So I need that one to be able to access my car, to drive my car. Without that app, well, I can use the card, but without that, I don't go anywhere. So that's going to be my app of choice today, but I have about 101 others that I will share, not all of them. That's my app that I need. Lee, what's yours? What's your one app?
It's probably the obvious on this one, but it will be the whole suite, and I can go into the vanilla of it, of Microsoft 365.
Outlook, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, all the other apps and add-ons. Yeah,
it goes beyond that, and it's a powerhouse, as it were. I mean, Satya, the CEO, obviously, who sits alongside Bill Gates, they really know where they're going. Is a way of putting it. If we were, I'll give the twist on it. If we were without our 365 services, we would be able to do our job, because it does indeed, as you say, support Word, Excel, most importantly, email, Outlook. But on the flip side, if we didn't have it in Galactica, we wouldn't have our phone system. So we use Microsoft Teams Voice, which one of the main manufacturer, Yealink, which is a VoIP manufacturer for phones, it integrates with Teams Voice. So if we didn't have it, we wouldn't have our phone system. We wouldn't have our switchboard as well. It's probably good 70% of the business. The amount of calls I have coming in day, I might as well be a telecoms business in a call center. But yeah, it'd be 365 driven on the nut of it, and it narrows it down just back down to the communication. which is important in our business, and also liaison with our customer base as well, most importantly.
App to sack, for me, I'm going that there's probably a number I could get rid of, but Paddy Power. I'm not a big gambler, but every now and then I like a little bit of tipple. But last time I used it, I just lost. So it needs to go because it just proves I'm no good at gambling. So that's the one that I would sack off the phone. Won't go back to it. Save money.
Friend of the show, James O'Rourke, has posted a very good point. Good question, James. How many apps does Nick have?
Yes, good question, James. How many apps does Nick have?
How many apps does Nick have? Right. Well, so Nick's homepage. There's a picture of me and my lovely wife. There was one folder, right, on my homepage. Okay, and that folder is entitled Enablers. Right. So my philosophy with apps is: will it add value to my world? Okay, if it doesn't go in page 1, the enablers folder. 9, 10, 11, 12.
What's in that enablers folder? Just give us one.
Google Maps.
Okay.
Spotify, my email, my bank, my Asda Scan and Go app.
Yeah.
Use that ridiculously
Speed up. Have you got the Harrods app in there, Nick?
I do not have the Harrods app.
Mason.
Just you and Elon Musk have that app, mate.
Asda,
mate. Yeah, just up the road. Yeah. Scan and go, right? Scan and go. Brilliant. I scan all the stuff on my phone, pay with my Apple Pay. That's something I wouldn't want to get rid of. My Apple Pay. That's something I rely on, Mr. James O'Rourke. I think that's brilliant. But I'm on a journey of discovery, right? I want to learn what apps should I have? What am I missing out on? Okay, and one of these discussions certainly leads on to diaries, which David, you and I will have a bit of a battle over this year around this. My paper diary. Look at that. Anyone else got one of these? Right.
I have got some, Nick. I kept them. They're in the archive. I think they're dated 1998, something along those lines. I mean, look, we can see here. Just put your wrist up. Is supporting his. Then Nick's got one on as well. Look, so smart device, Apple Watch.
I'm a runner, right? So I have a Garmin.
Yeah, but that's the only reason you're using it. You're not using it for probably any other thing apart from telling the time and getting your step count and your running calories and stuff like that. Where if I ask Lee, he's probably using it for his messaging, email, Teams. He's probably got all the plugins, everything running. Would that be kind of a rough analogy, Lee? Or are you just using it as a watch?
Pretty much. No, in a nutshell, it's used as a watch and used for fitness in gym. That's all I use it for. I do know the power of the Apple Watch, and
maybe I'm the odd man out here.
I'm quite traditional. I like keeping things on the old iPhone still, rather than trying to tap on little icons on your watch.
My eyesight's not good enough for that.
I Lee, what app would you get rid of if you had to delete an app off your device? Is there anything, or maybe one you've deleted because you're probably quite organised and got everything kind of sorted, so you probably don't have anything on there you don't need? But what app would you get rid of, or have you got rid of?
What is it, on an iPhone or anything?
It could be go for a mobile device if you wish to do so.
I hate to say this, and as method behind the madness of it, but it was Sage, the accountancy software.
Oh yeah, Sage 950.
It is painful. It's a powerhouse that's been around a long time, but if you want to talk dinosaur days, and a dinosaur trying to climb into the 21st century, it's just not working. We moved away from Sage Accountancy and went to Xero, just between the two platforms, you could just see the fresh eyes of it straight away. Sage is a horrible system.
I will go with that. I'll give you that one. Certainly one of the worst applications out there now. Some will say it's great, but Xero built up, for cloud computing and cloud accounting, so it's designed to work in the cloud. Where Sage adapted and just fudged it all and mucked it all up. Sorry, Sage, but that's the way it is.
Lovely audience. If you're massive Sage fans, feel free to pop in the chat.
You're allowed your opinion and share it.
Say no, lovely people.
Lee, top tips. We always ask our business audience coming on here to share maybe a top business tip or some sort of quote or something along those lines, what would be your top business tip you want to share with our audience, our listeners, our viewers, and your younger self if you could go back in a time machine?
All right, so from a business perspective, if we talk 2022 to 2023 is, and I spoke about it, touch base it briefly earlier in the call, is the cyber awareness. There really needs to put massive focus in small to medium to large, even people that work for themselves around cyber and security. There's massive drive on security, which includes vulnerability penetration testings provided by companies such as ourselves to help businesses protect themselves. Another bit element is cyber essentials. Is an accreditation that most businesses go through. It's becoming from January 2023 a compulsory requirement for clinical agency space, government space, and they will be further touching it on day-to-day businesses as well throughout the second part of next year as well, where you have to put yourself in for cyber essentials, and that's more from an awareness perspective, which the government are really trying to drive behind the scenes as well, because they've seen the influx of damage that the cyber criminals are causing, and the rapid speed that technology and the cyber world is actually growing at faster than the IT industry itself in the dark web.
So ultimately, get protected, protect yourself, speak to the experts, whether it is Galactica IT Group, or of course, depending on where you like to work in the world, but we have people watching this from all around the globe. They might not be able to use you, but find their local IT support MSP that can help them get protected, because it's kind of rife out there, really, isn't it? It's a bit like COVID for computers. There's lots of viruses out there which can cause bigger issues. Lee, how can people get in touch with you if they do want to reach out and find out more about what you do, or find out how you can help them be better protected? What's the quickest way? I've got this way. That might help.
That is the quickest way. What's shown down on the footer there?
On the website, yes.
Alternatively, it's very easy. It sounds naff, but it's emailing us hello@galacticgroup.cloud. That's hello@galacticgroup.cloud. You can't fail that one wrong. The only part you'll probably fail wrong would be our company name. But hello, obviously, you can get that tucked into your email space, and just put your interests. If you've got any ideas, even as well, welcome to share. But if you need any guidance, happy to help where we can.
Brilliant. Lee, groupgalactica.com is the website. Thank you very much for coming on and joining us on the show and sharing some of your wisdom, expertise, and knowledge this morning. It's been great to have you back. Wish you all the success throughout 2022 into 2023 on your journey. No doubt we'll catch up with you again later this year, and we'll get a third guest appearance from you on the show.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you, folks. See you soon.
Thanks a lot, Lee, and we'll catch you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.
He's looking well.
He is, isn't he? We didn't ask him, did we? He does look well. He said we kind of obviously had a quick chat with him before we went live on air, and he said he's been, working out, keeping fit, and he put on some COVID pounds. I think lots of us did that, and he's been taking them back off the other side. So well done, Lee.
Nice.
Looking very, very good.
Good work. So cyber awareness. Right? I guess I love the idea that we're all going to embrace apps and tools and make life easier. Okay, that's the plan, right? I imagine we've all got plenty of apps that actually get in the way, right? Massive distractions. How many of you have lost your way on Facebook rather than I just dipped in to check something? But unfortunately, there's a darker side to it all. So cyber awareness. So I'm on this journey of discovery, mate. What else? What should I know? What am I missing? Show me.
I suppose missing, is subjective, because I could suggest lots of things to you and others, and you'll go, well, yeah, no, not interested in that. Look, Nick, I've been trying to get you to go digital for a while now. Let's get your calendar digital. You do kind of use it, because I'll send you a calendar invite and you accept it. I just don't realize. You realize calendar invites there to go back to. But then obviously you use it for the links and stuff like that. So you're kind of hybriding, but we need to convert you fully and put the trust in the tech and dump the paper, and save the world as well by doing it. Because no paper, no printing and that type of stuff. But what other apps are out there? Well, lots of people say to me, Dave, what are your top apps? And I've got a kind of a list here, but I'm just going to run through some. I'm not going to necessarily go into detail about them, but I love Evernote. I know you use Evernote, Nick, because we collaborate over Evernote with show notes and various other business tactics and stuff like that. But it's a really great note sharing app. If Lee was here, he'd be saying OneNote because he's a Microsoft guru and fan. But Evernote, for me, is the platform I've been using for years and years and years. And it's just great to collaborate, upload written notes, voice notes, video notes, photos, collaborate. It's, file it all away in folders. It's just great. So have a look at Evernote, one I would certainly recommend. I love Otter. This is one not many people know of, but otter.io is a fantastic app. You download it onto a mobile device, you can have it on your laptop, desktop, tablet as well. But you can use it in virtual meetings, and basically it records the audio from that meeting. Or if you do a Teams or a Zoom meeting or equivalent, when you record it, you upload the recording and it extracts the audio. And then it transcripts all that audio into text and breaks it down into speakers. So you can see what speakers said what. And then it captivates all of that, and you can output that and share that with whoever else was in that meeting. If you want to create closed captions to go onto videos, then it does all that for you as well. So Otter is great. And actually, I think that the free version gives you 600 minutes a month, which most people would be enough transcription time. Calendly, I love Calendly. Now, this is one that I'm really using all the time. People say to me, David, can we get some time together, whether it's face-to-face, whether it's virtual? And I say, let's, get that time allocated in the diary. And rather than kind of flicking back dates and times, I say, look, if you've got some dates and times you want to share with me, let me know what those are and I'll look them up. So I want to keep the conversation flowing. But if you wish, here's the link to my calendar. Have a look, find something that works for you, click the booking link, and everything is done and automated for you, right the way through to booking the location, platform, etc. And then following up as well, reminding them before the meeting that is going to happen. So Calendly is awesome for automation. Doodle, everyone's probably been involved in a Doodle poll. We have a beer and curry club, don't we, Nick? Where we go out as business owners and we get together, and we've got about a dozen of us, something like that. We've got breakfast meeting coming up very shortly. But trying to get, 10 to 12 business owners together is challenging. We're all busy. So we create a Doodle poll. Here's the dates that can be done, and everyone votes, and out the bottom, we get, hopefully, the majority can go on a certain time and date. So that works really well. Other quick ones, AnyList. It's a great shopping list. I have it plugged into my digital friend here, my voice friend. So can you add to the shopping list? And then when my wife or I go out shopping, we can look on the list and see what we need to get. So that's great for that. VPN.
I have a paper one of those in my kitchen.
See, there you go. I can go out, I can flick down my watch, see what's happening. NordVPN. I use Nord as my VPN provider. What is a VPN? It's a virtual private network. For some of you, you might just want to watch Disney and Netflix in the US, or you go on holiday and you want to catch up on your Netflix. But of course, once you're out of UK waters, then you get a different version of Netflix. You might not get the programs. So in a basic personal space, you can utilize it just to access that, video streams from other countries around the world. Where I use it is kind of hiding my identity and protecting myself. And again, it's all about this security and protecting oneself. So that's really good. So a good VPN. And then finally, WhatsApp certainly sits up there. Communicate a lot on WhatsApp. And yeah, I've got Netflix and Disney on there as well. Family thing, Disney, Netflix, great for catching up on documentaries and stuff like that. So there is a small sample of some of the large number of apps that I have on my mobile device.
That sounds sensible, right? You've got a series of apps, some tech there that you're a busy man, so enables you to stay on top of stuff without losing your way, making life easier. Okay, what have you got that doesn't make life easier, mate? What other than Paddy Power? What have you got on there? Because everybody has. What do you think? Oh, that's a distraction.
Well, you mentioned Duolingo.
Yes, I did. Yes.
So when I was living in Spain, I wanted to get my speaking ability of Spanish underway. So I was playing with that, and now I'm not spending the time there. That's kind of just sitting there, hasn't been used for probably about nearly a year, probably. So another distraction, I play Scrabble, and every day I do a couple of words. My sister lives in Florida in the US, and we play probably 2 words per day on Scrabble. Because of the time difference, I do one before I go to bed. When I get up in the morning, she's done one, and I do another one in the morning, and we kind of play like that. We do it for a bit of fun, but it keeps the old mind ticking and working.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad. You're not losing yourself.
I'm not. I've played it a few times. I've got it on there. It's not an app, unfortunately. You have to use the browser, but and I quite like it. But it's a distraction. But it's quite short.
That's quite not bad. You're not losing half your life, right? No. You're not on TikTok, and an hour later.
I don't have TikTok.
You've learned nothing, and you're still there. It's
Facebook. I've got Facebook, obviously LinkedIn, Twitter. So there's the social media ones. But as much as we do a lot on social media, I'm not that active personally myself. I used to be, but I appreciate it takes so much time out of your day. I'm trying to restrain myself. So
what we need, mate. We need to talk to someone younger than us, right? About tech, about support, about tools. Right? If only we had a guest coming on the show that was not only much probably brighter, but younger than us, mate. Right? Who have we got?
Well, just so happens that we have our guest sitting patiently backstage, waiting to come on. Going to give us some productivity ideas, because we have a lady from MyRuby, which we'll find out more what MyRuby is in a second. But please welcome our second guest to this morning's show, Gemma Hart. Good morning, Gemma.
Morning, Nick. Morning, David. How are you? You okay?
We are well, yes, absolutely. Thanks for joining us, Gemma.
My pleasure. Absolutely my pleasure. Can I just say, just listening to Lee's story, I love hearing about people's life experience, and just thank you for sharing that, because that's amazing. So lovely to hear. I love hearing about success. So that was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
That's very kind. He's done well. That's done well. Continues to do well. And that's not an easy start, is it? That's a tough journey he's been on, and started his company in 2016. Big year for you too, Gemma. 2016, right?
Yeah, absolutely. 2016 was the year I become a mummy. I have the amazing little girl called Ava. Loves to talk. Not too sure where she gets that from, but doing very well at school. I think being a mum, it's an amazing, life experience, right? We were just talking about that, wasn't it? So being a mum, big year 2016 for me. So I'm her number one fan. I'm biased, obviously, but she's a lovely little girl.
And Gemma, she'll be your number one fan. I assume she's probably at school this morning anyway.
Yes, I think I had about 5 kisses wishing me well for today while she was eating her cereal. So bye, mummy, with a mouthful of cereal. So it was so nice, so nice. That's what more can you ask for?
Absolutely. So MyRuby, you're obviously in the office this morning.
I am. MyRuby HQ. Coming live from MyRuby HQ on Cultures to Business Park.
Are we going to see people peering through the slot on the window in a minute? Gemma, what are you up to? We can hear you, we can see you on the screen, but we have a peer through the window.
God, I hope so. That'd be great.
I don't think so. I think from the angle that I am, but I'm sure if you see a wave, feel free to wave back, I'd say.
Wave back. There's probably no one else in the office yet. You're there bright and early.
I was absolutely, the first one in. I do open and close normally, but yes, first one in, up at the crack of dawn this morning. I'm not known for being a morning person, but first one in. So
tell us more about MyRuby. What does MyRuby do?
Sure.
And how can you help people listening and watching this, probably from around the world, because you offer some virtual stuff, which I'm going to let you cover. And then we'll talk a little bit more about some of your productivity tips as well.
Absolutely. Hearing everything that you've spoken about already, I was like, that's brilliant. I can link on to that, and that's absolutely amazing. MyRuby. So what does MyRuby do? So we are an outsourced telephone reception service, predominantly for small and medium-sized businesses all over the UK. Our service works in 2 ways. as a total replacement to your current reception setup, or perhaps on an overflow basis. So we can provide like overflow support during those peak periods, on lunch breaks and sickness and that kind of thing. We allocate all of our clients their own personal Ruby, as we refer to our lovely team. So from the account that we set up from you, Ruby becomes your main point of contact, and she does everything a traditional receptionist or PA would do for you. Not just the handling the calls, there's lots of additional tasks that we are asked to do as well, such as booking holidays and appointments, all different things. But in a nutshell, that's what we do.
So you're taking the let's say the reception, the kind of an organization that gets plenty of traffic on the phone. You're taking the headaches away. You're organizing it on their behalf, and I imagine it sounds like them, right? So you're working for me. Someone rings up, and you go, "Hi, it's feet on the ground. How can we help?" And then you take care of the rest.
Absolutely.
Great.
It's the whole idea is we speak just as we're based there. We provide all our clients with their own divert numbers, so they divert as and when they wish. They're in full control of that number as well. So it's everything's there that the call comes in, the phone rings, the screen pops that information, and we all work off the same information. So if you don't have your own personal Ruby, you handle your call, it just routes the next person within her team, and we naturally we support each other with each other's client calls. So so the whole idea, we over the years, I've been at my Ruby 10 years in August, 10 years. Oh my God. But what I'm saying is, in that time, we really do have some amazing feedback, just how much our service supports our clients. They can have those meetings and just get able to get on with running their business, knowing that their calls are handled in their absence, just as they would.
So, a question for you.
Yeah.
10 years of being at my Ruby. Telephony traffic, personally, in my opinion, has reduced dramatically over the years. Is this something that you've seen? So think about, going back 5 to 10 years ago, people were quite happy to pick up the phone, make a phone call, have a chat. And now we're seeing people, I mentioned like Calendly earlier or something like that, let's jump on a Zoom call, let's book onto a Teams call. So it's kind of a pre-booked meeting, right? Even when people want to, catch up, it's let's jump on a Teams call, here's my link, rather than pick up the phone, dial a number, hi, are you there? And obviously get through, the call gets redirected to you. So are you seeing a reduction in that kind of answering phone call traffic, or do you think it's still quite popular method of communication?
It's different, isn't it? Everybody experiences it differently depending on where they work. We're telephone reception support, so our inbound calls are how our business operates. So in answer to your question, as business development manager, people are more open to the concept of outsourcing. They want people to be there to pick up the phone. They don't want to miss a business call. That's it.
Yes.
The whole idea is, from the initial inquiry, it's so important what you say, and you listen. Listen. We take that for granted, don't we? That's still, we need to listen to the customer as well. So I would say we have an increase because people are more open to the concept of outsourcing. But just in terms of and understand how much increased efficiency we can provide to a business, focus on the core areas. If the reception element of a business is supported, oh my God, the opportunities are endless, aren't they? So, and I think for me, in my experience, I hear about people setting up their second business, and that's what our services enable companies to do. So I would say increased traffic, certainly during pandemic. All businesses have developed differently, I think, over the pandemic. We are one of the ones, we work remotely, and people have found remote support being of a benefit, certainly when they've had their staff furloughed. So, we definitely see an increase, I would say.
I guess one of the reasons that the perception is people make less phone calls is because we got used to trying to ring someone and they never picked up their phone, right? They were hiding behind their voicemail. Okay, and then people couldn't be bothered to leave messages because they were never responded to. But if your organization is known for, well, you ring them, they answer the phone, right? There's no hiding behind voicemail with them, and I guess all of the organizations that work with you, Gemma, you ring and someone picks up the phone, you'd soon get used to they're the organizations that I can call. And how often, right, David, it's a question to you. How often have you been on let's say on a service call, you're trying to get through to someone and all you want to do is speak to a human?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I must admit, I've kind of moved. If there's a chat function, I use the chat function because I'm more likely to be able to get through and get action quicker. And also, while the chat function's there, I can carry on and do something else. So not always, because sometimes you just want to get hold of that human and give them a shake, don't you? So you want to have a bit of conversation with them. But I totally agree with you, Nick. I mean, we're adapting. I'm not saying voice is still not a place. Of course, people need to talk, and the service that you offer, Gemma, is a service that I would suggest to any business they have. Certainly a small to medium-sized enterprise where even if they're working for themselves, the plumber, the electrician that's listening to this, working from home, they're out, they're busy on the tools, their mobile rings, they can't take the call because they're up to their arms in water or holding things up in the ceiling, then, Gemma's team will answer it, which is important because at least it's getting answered professionally. The message is taken. And then my assumption, Gemma, that you will text that to them, email it to them, or relay it by carrier pigeon if that's what they're very requesting.
Well, that's it. That's the personalised service, isn't it? I mean, you've been talking about technology. Now, our technology is an amazing software called Encall that enables us to utilise all clients' information. When we take the call, immediately after that call's finished, it's sent by email to that client. We can send it by text for something urgent. So as you said, it's the call's handled and they have that information straight away. So amazing technology, and that's how we provide our service.
And for those organizations, and I love this about you guys, Gemma, for those organizations that aren't sure, you're more than happy to give them a free trial.
Absolutely. I mean, I think it's unique for a business to have something to offer for nothing. Not many businesses have that, and we offer a free 10-day trial. It's all, I could sit here all morning and talk about the benefits of our service, but the trial is an opportunity to experience it for yourself. So that the idea is we set up, and I always say, set it up just as if as you mean to go on. So the whole idea is that with your consistent calls, we can show a client what we can do if they have their own personal Ruby, and we just send a tariff based on the usage. So, but yeah, it's amazing to have that to offer to potential new clients. So.
Free trial, like we love something for free. These trials. We're talking more about how people can get in touch with you very shortly before we wave goodbye to you. But Nick is compiling a notepad with a pen and pencil of top business tips.
Yeah, so you make it sound old-fashioned, mate. Pen and blooming pencil.
Oh, I could have said charcoal or slate and chalk, but
yeah, I'm writing it down. All right.
So Nick is writing it down, and we're compiling all these quotes and top tips from people that come on our show. What would be a top tip that you'd love to share, Gemma, with the listeners and audience? Maybe your younger self, if you could go back in the DeLorean and find your younger self. What tip would you give?
I think it's pretty simple for me. I think be yourself. Be yourself in a business. I think business are interested in individual skills. Know what is it you're good at, and if you're self in that, you're setting yourself up for success. If you do something you love, I love what I do. Love talking to people, and I'm myself when I'm out and about talking to people about my Ruby. I am known for talking in our office. I've won the award for giving that little bit extra. I think about 4 times in a row. So, but just be you. Have fun at work. Yeah, I think that's important. Yeah. I think that helps the business to succeed as well. So,
absolutely, and being yourself. That's how you're here, Gemma. I bumped into you just over a week ago, and you come up to me, and we'd met virtually. We happened to be in the same room, and you come up. We had a conversation, and we got talking. And I said, Gemma, you need to come on the show and talk about. We're on a tech and tools and app show. Come on and talk about how you can help businesses, and that's why you're here today, because you put yourself out there and made that conversation take place, which is Nick's favorite thing to talk about, human-centric conversation. And so, yeah, thank you very much for joining us on the show. How can people get in touch if they want to try one of your taster trials, if they want to find out more about what you offer? I'll give you a little helping hand here. Here we go.
Love it. So www.myruby.co.uk, that's our website. Email ruby@myruby.co.uk. Feel free to give us a call. Love to hear from anyone who wants to just explore the options really of supporting their business. And thank you guys for having me as well. I've had a great time and have a lovely show. Brilliant.
Oh, you're very welcome, Gemma. How lovely are you? And a 10-day free trial. That's an awesome place to start with any business. So I heartily.
Anyone I meet networking, I am known to extend that. So if you meet me out and about, now you've seen me, now I've a lovely platform to have seen me live. So if you see me out and about, ask about an extended trial networking. So I always extend it for anyone new I meet locally.
And very finally, because we forgot to ask, or Nick and I neglected, what's your top app? What is an app you use on a daily basis?
I think I would say TripAdvisor. I'm one of these people. I want to look on TripAdvisor. I want to know where I'm going. Is it got great kids facilities? Nice place to have out for lunch. Plan my trip. It might be being a PA by nature. That's probably why. But that would be TripAdvisor for me, I'd say.
TripAdvisor, the top app. There we go. Gemma Hart from My Ruby, thank you very much for joining us this morning. Have a great day. Enjoy the sunshine. And no doubt we'll catch up with you again very soon.
You too. Thanks, guys, for having me. Take care.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Oh, Nick, I'm big, you're small. Let's balance that back out.
Don't tell anybody. Don't tell people. Dearie me.
Oh, Gemma, lovely lady. Absolutely lovely.
Fabulous, mate. Fabulous. And TripAdvisor, I read in the news recently, it's an app that I use from time to time, what's going on in the news, but I imagine the news is just feeding me stuff. I guess it's my personal feed. But I read in the news that they are getting closer to banning fake reviews. Right. Yes. Yeah. Well, you can buy them, can't you? Not that I don't use TripAdvisor in my own business, but you can buy, your reviews online, and someone will post them up there for you. So they've actually got round to banning them. That's really good. Thought they might have done that. They're getting there, and TripAdvisor are very keen on trying to ensure that if there's a review anywhere, it's real. But so many companies have been caught buying fake reviews, and that they bold as brass. The article, they were interviewing someone who says, I write fake reviews, it's one of my jobs, no problem, send me a product and I'll write a fake review on it. Back to Lee's point about cyber awareness and being aware of this new world that we enter into. If we let tech do the heavy lifting, then be very mindful of what else does that mean for us. Common sense and scruples. You've got to, look at these things, and I can see you smiling there. You're going to write that one down now, aren't you? You've got to be able to look at the reviews. Amazon are great for it, lots of reviews, but you've got to really kind of go through quite a few to get a real fair understanding, because there's people that have a vindictive streak. Maybe it wasn't right for them. Doesn't mean it's a naff or rubbish product, but then on the flip side, you get people that say it's the best thing because it's friends of the products, so it's about getting a balance, isn't it? Yeah, there's a part of this story, the reviews appearing on the likes of Amazon for not even the right product, right? You're looking at one product and then you look down and there's reviews for blooming umbrellas and stuff, and thinking, hold on, this isn't what I'm looking at. Still got 5 stars though. Oh, without a doubt. Okay, a couple of things before we wrap up today's show, Nick. The Federation of Small Business tomorrow. It's come round so quickly, but tomorrow is the big networking event, the Spring Back to Business, hosted by myself and Pauline Weddell. And it's great. There's over 800 delegates registered for tomorrow. It's free to attend. You don't have to be a Federation of Small Business member. You can just be a small business owner, medium-sized business owner. You could be working within an organization. It's free. I'm going to pop the details into the chat now. It's only 1,000 people allowed to come onto the call because it's all running Zoom meetings, lots of breakout rooms, lots of ways of connecting using the chat. Going to be great fun. 3 great speakers all doing a 4 or 5 minute talk, giving you top tips. So if you're interested in meeting others, collaborating, sharing, learning, educating yourself with something new, driving your business forward, then tomorrow, 10 o'clock,
to 11:30. That's UK time. We're not quite we're into the British summertime now. Do join up, sign up, and join that. I'll pop that up on the screen now, but it is in the chat with the link to join. So look forward to everybody that can make that tomorrow.
Fantastic. And it's on Earth Day, mate. So ladies and gentlemen, please do what you can on Earth Day. Have a think about what can you do to take the pressure off the planet a tad. Maybe less paper diaries, mate, and more. I don't know what. I'd be really interested to know, right? What is the impact of my paper diary compared with the carbon footprint of my digital diary? I wonder.
Someone probably done the research and probably has the results. If you do have those, let us know. We'll put them out there. I suppose there is an argument for that, Nick, but let's. That's the Earth Day, obviously, argument. But my argument is, let's just get you using technology, get you embracing it, getting you into the 21st century. Wouldn't that be great? Nick joins the 21st century and goes digital. That'd be perfect. We talked about cars earlier. My final image for today. We talked in the past shows about petrol prices. We talked about, cost of living increasing, the cost of petrol and diesel going through the roof. And I think when we spoke previously, the biggest we saw was about £2 per litre. Someone was kind of popping that into the chat. Well, I found this in the news. Okay, it is in the Daily Mirror, so take it with a pinch of salt. Driving us furious at the most expensive petrol station in the UK, selling fuel for £2.7 a litre. £2.7 for diesel, and then £1.90 for fuel, petrol. Unbelievable.
£2.07 per litre.
That's like I don't have a calculator, but that's like
you do. You have 5 calculators and a real one. We were talking earlier.
I do have a calculator here, actually. I have an old-fashioned calculator, but that works out about just under £10 a gallon. This is where I feel fortunate. I do drive an electric car. I'm not paying that expense. But you're right, Nick. I do have 5 calculators. Let me just show everybody because people won't believe me. So here's the app. So there's
in your calculator folder. Mm-hmm.
In my calculator folder, okay, there's 5 different calculators. Mm-hmm. Now, go on, ask me the question: why do you need 5 calculators?
Oh, I did. I know, and it made sense.
Here we go. So let me tell you the 5 calculators I have in here. I have a standard.
You don't get this on all shows, do you? Hey, if you're still tuned in right now, you're in for a real treat. Hold tight.
Here we go. So 5 calculators. A standard calculator, scientific based, of course, in case I want to do some algebra. I'm a bit old for that now. I did that when I was 14. But I have a margin calculator for calculating margins on products or services. I have a salary calculator, which works out things like national insurance and tax contributions and all that. I have a UK tax calculator for calculating how much tax you're going to pay, or I'm going to pay, or others are paying. And I have a currency calculator for working out currency conversions and stuff like that as well. So 5 separate calculators. They're all needed at some point. There we go.
I know. And old Nick does it in his head and then checks it on his calculator on his phone.
Just to double check. Well, that's it. After the calculator story, that's all we have time for this week. We will be back. We will be back next week. Next week, we're talking about business hacks. So if you've got a business hack you want to share with us about anything, how to accelerate growth, how to be more engaging, generate more sales, it might be an app or something like that, then do share it with us. We'd love to know what your business hack is. Pop it in the chat. Drop us an email at hello@chatboxproductions.com, and that would be fantastic. Look, James has put, by the way, you were doing so well. Great show. And then you mentioned 5 calculators. I thought it was quite an important bit to share, but obviously not.
It will go down in history. This is the bit that goes viral, right, on YouTube, right? Did you hear about the 5 calculator story? Yeah, this is
David's 5 calculators. Absolutely, yeah.
Which has just gone absolutely viral. Yes.
Right, we better leave it there, Nick, before we do ourselves more damage than we need. That's it. That's that for this Thursday's breakfast show. We're back next Thursday with myself and Nick. We'll be talking about business hacks, how to accelerate your business using these hacks and tools available to you. Let us know what yours are. Until then, goodbye.
Cheerio.